this is a very real thing. There's a really strange phenomenon that happens when starting out as a creative and beginning to learn, or heck, even as a professional or someone with decades of experience behind them. The fear of creating something that might not be good. Heck, maybe you even made the thing and then you just can't put it out into the world because of fear, because you're scared. What if no one likes it? What if they hate it? What if? Stop. For the next few minutes, I want you to put down whatever it is that is currently distracting you, and I want you to really listen and really look inside yourself and ask a couple questions right now. Why do you do what you do? Why do you love music? Why do you feel the desire to create? Why do you make music? If the answer has anything to do with passion or the love of music or the desire to create something or anything having to do with joy or happiness, then stop being scared. There is something immensely personal about making music that is so hard to explain to anyone who doesn't do music. It's like weird to talk about. So my wife is not a musician. She knows what I do. She hears what I make. But she doesn't really get it, and she never will. And that's okay. One of the biggest things I've had to learn as a creative is to compartmentalize my feelings and emotions when it comes to my music. Like when I'm creating it, when I'm writing and producing, I need to get into an emotional mindset. I need to feel, I need to become insanely emotionally invested in what I'm doing for me to pour my heart and soul into it. But when I'm done, I need to take a step back and get off that high. I need to come down from cloud 9 to a certain degree and realize that the rest of the world will probably never feel the way that I felt when I made it. And can I just say, that is so hard to do. It is so hard to emotionally let go and realize that when I share my music to people, I cannot expect them to feel what I feel. They're probably never gonna know. And in some ways that becomes really lonely. That becomes really hard to mentally wrap my brain around, that when I share something that I made, really only I know the true intricacy of what it is. I mean, come on, does the average listener or even super experienced listener catch on to that super cool voice leading technique in the piano part? Or are they gonna know that you used a slick EQ boost to draw out a certain part of a sound? No. Of course not. What they get in some ways is just the cliff notes. And that is honestly kind of sad as someone that's labored so hard over something seemingly so delicate. So I get why you're scared. I get why you're afraid of sitting down and writing or producing and creating another song when chances are you're probably feeling a little beat up. And this thing called the internet can be terrible. You think I haven't gotten horrible comments on my channel or on my music? I've had people call me names. I've had people say things without knowing the first thing about me. I had someone recently comment that I'm just a producer who doesn't play any real instruments or make any real music when, yeah, I'm a classically trained pianist, studied under some extraordinarily prolific teachers. You know, like doctorate from Juilliard, another from Columbia, another who actually premiered one of my works in a national convention. The point here is that no matter what you've done or how much you've achieved or accomplished or not achieved or not accomplished, there are going to be people who are quick to type out the most snarky thing they can think of. But think about this for a moment. If that's what they spend their time doing, that means they're probably scared themselves, insecure themselves about creating. They've never had to expose themselves to other people because, let's face it, when you share a song with the world, it kind of feels like standing in front of an audience naked. You feel exposed, you feel like a million eyes are on you in the most uncomfortable spot you can think of. And that is terrifying. When I look back on the songs I wrote 10, 15 years ago, I want to crawl in a hole and die. I'm not even kidding, it's bad. I've kind of considered sharing my old works on this channel and I can't. Like, I would rather jump into the Arctic Ocean and freeze to death. That might be a little hyperbolic, but I think you get the point. If you're stifled by intense fear to make music or to put yourself out there, then I want you to consider making a few mental adjustments that I've had to teach myself and learn. And you can learn this too, and you can make that change too, but you have to decide to do it. First off, you need to do what I mentioned earlier. Separate the emotion you feel for the song when you made it from what you expect others to feel. You need to realize that it's actually very rare for someone to understand how it feels. So when you share your song, you should expect nothing. You're probably thinking, Nathan, are you crazy? Expect nothing? Yeah, expect nothing, because when you expect nothing, it's not gonna hurt when you get nothing. And when you do get something, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's a breath of fresh air, and it's something you can cherish. And yeah, I want to be vulnerable. I fail at this regularly. I fail at separating my emotions. I fail at expecting nothing because I do expect something. I want to have people tell me the music that I made them feel something. I want people to feel, and not just that I want them to feel, but I selfishly want them to tell me how they feel, because that music feels like an extension of who I am as a person. And the truth is that I have to constantly remind myself of this, because those hurt feelings when someone doesn't react how I hope, it's not their fault. And I know that you think it is, but it's not. You can do what you can to kindly express how you feel to people and help them see, but you cannot make them fake their own emotional response. Secondly, you need to realize that we are all learning. We are all improving. And at the beginning, the need for improvement is, it's easier to hear than when you're 10 years into it. So what I mean is, if you are new to this, then you need to know that in a year from now, you're gonna look back and think it sucks. I promise you. I've been writing songs since I was about 10 years old, started producing at 14, and I can tell you that even now I look back, a year back and feel like, oh, that wasn't my best, or oh man, that wasn't very good. What was I thinking? And this is just part of learning. If you cannot recognize that you will learn and improve, and you will have to wrestle through not being that great, then you're gonna continue struggling, and that fear is gonna eat you alive. You have to be strong and realize that thick skin is learned. You can learn to be more objective about your art so that you can make it better. You can learn to be more honest with yourself about the areas that need to improve. That doesn't make you a bad artist. It makes you a learning artist. The number of people who are just immensely gifted, like with natural talent, is so insanely small compared to those who had to fight and labor for every single piece of skill that they acquired. And notice I said skill and not talent, because there's a difference. Talent's great, but talent will never outperform skill that's fully developed. I know a lot of talented people who are lazy and never develop their skill, and those are people I don't want to work with. You need to realize that most who have acquired a high level of artistic ability have done so through years and years and years of work. If you think I got here where I am because I'm just so talented, you're so wrong that it's actually hilarious. I'm not saying I don't have any talent, but what you don't know is that I failed building this very YouTube channel for years before I ever saw an ounce of success. You don't know that when I was in high school, I used to get to school at 6:30 in the morning so I could practice piano on my school's grand piano every single day. I was usually late to my first period because I didn't want to stop. You don't know that though I had friends in school, I didn't have a very crazy social life like everyone else, because I would get home from school and write and produce songs until my mom told me to come up for dinner. I could go on, because that's just high school. That's not even talking about the work and sacrifices I made beyond high school. And I'm not saying any of this to get a pat on the back or a good job, buddy, because I didn't get any of that in the moment. But you know what? It was worth every single second. The fear, the failure, the crappy songs. And I'm so thankful I had honest parents. I vividly remember taking my laptop to my parents' room in high school after producing a song and sharing it with them. And they basically told me straight up that, I should practice more, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was. Yeah. How many parents or friends are willing to be honest and truthful that something isn't as good as you think it is? And you know what? It stings a lot. But that pang went away, and I got back to work. And you can too. And now I'm thankful for those moments. I still make songs and productions that I come back the next day and I'm like, wait a minute, that was terrible. Why did I do that? And that's okay. It's part of learning. And I'm gonna fill you in on a little secret. That learning never ends. And thirdly, take a deep breath. At the beginning of this video, I asked you why you make music. This is where you need to daily and consistently remind yourself of that. Are you making music to boost your ego? If so, you're in it for the wrong reason. Are you making music because you want to be famous? Wrong reason, because you're gonna get burned out so fast you won't even know what hit you, I promise. Are you making music because mom and dad told you to do it? That's a tough one. Parents, you can make your kids take lessons when they're little for education. I think that's a good thing. My kids will be required to take piano lessons like they're required to learn math and science, but there comes a point when a kid is no longer a kid and it's their decision. My brother and sister also took piano lessons growing up. But I'm the only one that stuck with it, because there came a time when they weren't kids anymore and it didn't resonate with them like it did for me. And that's okay. If you don't feel it, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're gonna struggle. But if you're doing it because you love it, you can't imagine life without it, you dream about it, heck, you daydream about it when you're at work or school, then you need to embrace that. You need to make it out of passion and love and emotion and forget what anyone else says. Forget what the trolls online say in the comment section. Most of the time, I actually laugh when I see nasty comments now because I see just how ridiculous it is that I think I should find my joy in them. I don't. I find my joy in the creation of something that is beautiful to me and something that I cannot imagine my life without. And most people will never understand that, ever. But I do. So take a deep breath. Remind yourself why you do this. In the comments, I want you to tell me what music means to you. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.